Anton is 54, widowed 2 years ago, and he's finally ready to try again. So he does everything right. He pays for dinner 3 times. He texts the morning after each one. He plans a 4th date, and then one day, she just stops replying. No reason, no goodbye, just silence. He sits there trying to figure out what he did wrong. And from the outside, he did everything right. He was kind. He was generous. He showed up. So why did she pull away? It's not bad luck. It's a pattern. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Have you ever been Anton? The guy who did everything right and still got nothing back? Be honest. Drop it in the comments right now. Section 1. The nice guy. Myth. What niceness actually is. Here's what most people get wrong about the nice guy. They think he's just a good man who keeps losing to jerks. That framing feels true. It's not. And that one misread is exactly what keeps him stuck. The nice guy isn't a moral type. He's a strategy. And that difference is going to change how you see every interaction you've ever had. Dr. Robert Glover is a therapist who spent years working with men caught in this pattern. His core argument is simple. Nice guys operate on a hidden belief. If I'm good enough, helpful enough, agreeable enough, generous enough, I'll earn love and approval. Niceness isn't a virtue here. It's a trade. And that's where it starts to fall apart. There's a real difference between genuine kindness and nice guy niceness. Genuine kindness is free, no strings. You help someone move because you want to help them move. Full stop. Nice guy niceness looks the same on the surface, but underneath, there's a ledger. Every dinner paid, every favor done, every time he bit his tongue. It all goes in the book, and at some point, he expects to collect. Think about this. A guy helps a woman move apartments, fixes something in her car, covers her when she's short on cash. From her side, a kind, generous friend. From his side, he's been making deposits into an account she doesn't even know exists. Then she starts dating someone else. He doesn't react like a friend who's hurt. He reacts like someone who didn't get what he paid for. That reaction is the tell. Real generosity doesn't come with that kind of anger. Resentment like that only makes sense if you believed a deal was in place, a deal she never agreed to. Now, here's what's strange. Women don't reject kindness. They reject the hidden trade underneath it. And the strange part? They feel it before they can name it. There's something slightly off. A pressure that's hard to explain. A sense that his kindness has strings, even when he swears it doesn't. That feeling is accurate. It's not paranoia. The transaction is leaking through. She can feel the weight of what he expects, even though he's never said it out loud. Your brain reads other people's intentions the way a smoke detector reads air, not consciously, but constantly. Something registers as off long before you can explain why. That's what's happening here. So where does this hidden deal come from? Because it doesn't start with dating. It starts much earlier in how he learned to get his needs met when asking directly felt too dangerous. Section 2, Covert Contracts, the Unspoken Deal. Nobody agreed to. Let's name what's actually happening here. Dr. Glover calls it a covert contract. Here's what that means in plain terms. It's a deal one person makes alone. If I do X, she owes me Y. She never agreed to it. She never even saw it. But he's already holding her to it. On the outside, he looks selfless. He's picking up the check. He's remembering how she takes her coffee. He's showing up. But inside, he's keeping score. Every gesture, every inconvenience, every time he put her needs above his own. The whole time, she has no idea the meter is running. And here's what's strange. She feels it anyway, not because she's reading his mind, because there's a gap between what he's showing and what he's actually feeling, and that gap creates pressure. Go back to Anton. 3 dinners, each one planned carefully, each one paid for without hesitation. By the 3rd, something has shifted in his head. These weren't just dinners anymore. They were a sequence, a progression, a down payment. So when the night ends and she's not ready to move things forward, he doesn't experience it as her decision. He experiences it as a breach. She didn't hold up her end of a deal she never agreed to. And this is where the damage really starts. When the contract isn't honored, nice guys don't say anything directly. They shift. The warmth cools. The texts get shorter. There's a sulking quality to it, a quiet withdrawal that signals punishment without ever stating a reason. She feels that shift immediately. Even without knowing what triggered it, what she registers is this: his kindness was conditional. The moment I didn't give him what he wanted, he changed. That's not a safe person. That's a warning sign. Real quick, if this is making something click about your own patterns, hit subscribe. Every week I break down the psychology behind why men struggle in relationships, and more importantly, how to change it. Don't miss next week's video. Now here's what goes even deeper. There's something in how people read others, fast below the surface, that detects whether someone's care is real or performed. Your brain is running this scan constantly on every person you interact with. Covert contracts read as performance, compliance dressed up as care. He keeps giving himself away with his own behavior. His emotional reactions don't match the generous guy he's presenting, and at a level she's not even consciously aware of, that incongruence signals something is off. Here's the part that stings. Most men think the problem is that they're too nice, so they double down. More dinners, more favors, more patience. But the problem was never the niceness. It was the hidden expectation underneath it. Adding more niceness on top of a covert contract doesn't fix it, it just buries the contract deeper. A secure man doesn't run a 6-week setup. He doesn't manufacture situations where he can look generous. He just says it early and clearly, "I'm interested in you." That's it. He states his intention, gives her space to respond, and sits with whatever comes back. No ledger, no resentment cycle. Because there was never a hidden deal. Just an honest statement and the maturity to hear the answer. Here's a controversial take. Nice guys aren't actually nice, they're just afraid. Do you agree or disagree? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. Section 3. Boundary collapse. Why saying yes to everything signals danger. You'd think the covert contract would eventually blow up. It doesn't, because he makes sure it never gets tested. He does that by having no limits, no point where he'll say, "That doesn't work for me," and actually mean it. Because the moment he holds a line, the transaction breaks. She might pull back, she might like him less, she might leave, and that possibility is unbearable to him. So instead, he says yes to everything. Always. That's boundary collapse. And it doesn't just hurt him, it actively repels her. A limit isn't just self-protection, it's a signal. When a man holds a line, calmly, no drama, no anger, he communicates something specific. I have a self-worth protecting. I know what I value. I'm not available for everything. That's not coldness, that's clarity. Now flip that. A man with no limits communicates the opposite. He'll absorb any treatment, rearrange any plan, change any opinion if it means staying in her good graces. And what does that signal? That there's nothing underneath the niceness, no core, no self, just someone whose entire operating system is built around not being rejected. Here's what that looks like in real life. A guy is getting to know a woman he likes. She mentions a music preference. He immediately says he loves that too. She shares an opinion. He finds himself agreeing, even though 2 days ago he thought the opposite. She's late again. 3rd time. He tells her no problem, even though it is a problem. He never cancels, never disagrees, never asks for anything. And she starts to feel it, not gratitude, unease, because you can't connect with someone who has no edges. There's nothing to push against, nothing to hold on to. He's perfectly agreeable and completely unknowable. And this isn't just about attraction, it goes deeper. A man who folds his own preferences the moment someone pushes doesn't read as kind. He reads as someone who cannot hold a position under pressure. And if he can't hold a position now, when nothing is at stake, What happens when something actually matters? Boundary collapse doesn't say, "I care about you." It says, "I'm afraid of you." And here's the brutal paradox. The harder the nice guy works to avoid rejection, the more certain rejection becomes. The behavior meant to keep her close is the exact behavior driving her away. He's running faster on a treadmill that's already going the wrong direction. Availability without selectivity isn't attractive. It's desperate. And desperation is the one thing you cannot charm your way out of. A man who says, "That doesn't work for me," quietly, without making it a scene, creates something the nice guy never does. He creates safety through predictability. You know what he'll accept. You know what he won't. That kind of clarity isn't a turnoff. It's the foundation of real trust. Section 4, Validation Seeking, the engine underneath. So what's running all of this? The nice guy has handed his self-worth to someone else, completely. Whether he feels good enough, attractive enough, worth keeping around, isn't something he decides. It lives in her reaction, her text back, her smile across the table, her decision to see him again. The moment she pulls back even slightly, the floor drops out. Because she isn't just a person he likes, she's the measure he's using to assess himself. And when that measure goes quiet, he doesn't just feel disappointed. He feels like he's disappearing. Most men running this pattern don't know they're doing it. They think they're just really into her. They think the anxiety is proof of how much they care. But caring and depending aren't the same thing. One is about her. The other is about him. Think about what this looks like from her side. She texts back a little late one afternoon. Maybe she's busy, maybe she's just tired. And suddenly, his energy shifts. He sends a follow-up, then another. He starts showing up more, doing more, overcompensating with a gesture that lands as pressure instead of warmth. She registers it immediately, not as devotion, as instability. Because what she's watching is a man whose entire emotional state rises and falls with her response time. That means she's now responsible for how he feels about himself. That's not a relationship. That's a job she didn't apply for. So why does this happen? It doesn't start with dating. It starts much earlier. Men who run this pattern usually learned, somewhere early, in a home that wasn't emotionally safe, that asking for what they needed was dangerous. So they adapted. They stopped asking. They started giving instead. At age 7, that was survival. At 35, it's the reason they keep ending up alone. Go back to Anton. After that third dinner, she takes a day to reply. He reads the silence as rejection and spirals, second guesses everything he said, everything he ordered, the way he ended the night. So he does what men in this pattern always do. He overcorrects. He plans something bigger, something that says, without saying it, "Please confirm I'm still okay." She pulls back further, not because she's cruel, because the need coming off him is louder than anything he's actually saying. She can feel the urgency, and urgency reads as instability, not depth. This is the loop. The more he chases reassurance, the less attractive the dynamic becomes. The less attractive it becomes, the more anxious he gets. The more anxious he gets, the harder he chases. He's not moving toward connection. He's running from the unbearable feeling of not knowing where he stands. And the real wound, the one underneath all of it, is this. He never learned that he was enough without performing. So he's been performing ever since, giving, agreeing, accommodating, hoping that if he does enough of it, someone will finally confirm what he can't confirm for himself. But you can't earn something through performance that can only come from inside. That's not a dating problem. That's a much older problem wearing a dating costume. Section 5. The exit. What changes and what it costs. So what does getting out of this actually look like? First, let's be clear about what it isn't. It's not becoming cold. It's not learning dominant scripts or push-pull tactics or whatever the self-improvement playbook is selling this week. None of that touches the real problem. The real problem is the gap between what he shows and what he actually wants. The fix is closing that gap. That starts with killing the hidden deal. Instead of 6 weeks of favors and hoping she figures it out, he says it directly, early. I'm interested in you. That's the whole move. No setup, no down payment, just a clear signal and the willingness to hear whatever comes back. This feels uncomfortable because it removes the safety net. If he never says it out loud, he can always tell himself she might have felt the same way. Saying it means risking a real answer. But that discomfort is the point. You can't build something real while hiding what you actually want. The second shift is rebuilding the floor. This doesn't mean picking fights or testing her. It means finding one thing that's genuinely non-negotiable and holding it. Maybe it's his time. Maybe it's honesty about where things are heading. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that he holds it because it's actually true for him, not because he read somewhere that women like men who say no. Performed limits are just another version of the same game. Real limits come from knowing what you value. People feel the difference immediately. The third shift is the hardest one. He has to stop outsourcing his self-worth before he can survive the uncertainty that comes with actual dating. That means building a life that doesn't collapse when she doesn't text back. Real friendships, work he cares about, a sense of his own value that exists whether she confirms it or not. This isn't quick. It's not a technique, it's the actual work. And most men avoid it because performing niceness feels like forward motion. Sitting with internal discomfort feels like nothing is happening. But one of those changes the pattern, the other just extends it. Conclusion. Think about Anton one more time. Same man, different operating system. He pays for one dinner. He tells her clearly he's interested. She says she's not sure yet. He says, okay, and he means it. He doesn't spiral. He doesn't send a follow-up the next morning. He goes home and lives his life. And that single moment, that one signal that her uncertainty doesn't destabilize him, changes the entire dynamic. Not because he played it cool, because he genuinely wasn't running on her approval to feel like himself. That's the version of kindness that actually works, not kindness as a trade, kindness as a reflection of who he already is. When kindness becomes a strategy, people feel it, even before they can name it. The real problem was never being too nice. It was using niceness to avoid the one thing that actually creates connection, saying what you want, and risking a real answer. If this framework clicked for you, subscribe. Every week I break down the psychology behind why men struggle in relationships, real tools, not generic advice. And drop a comment. Have you been running a covert contract without knowing it? I want to hear it.